Hello, my name is Andrew Gordon, and I'm a CPA and attorney working in cryptocurrency for over 10 years. And in this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most common topics and questions that come up, which is what are the rules on DeFi taxes, specifically when it comes to wrapping or bridging tokens. I'm going to break down the basics of DeFi taxation when it comes down to wrapping and bridging crypto tokens. Something that's very common in the DeFi world, but from a tax perspective can be quite complex. Let's talk through it. So first of all, what is bridging a token? Well, bridging refers to moving from one protocol or blockchain to another. Perhaps you're interacting presently on the Ethereum blockchain, which is its own blockchain, its own network. But then you wanted to now operate on Polygon, which is a completely different blockchain, and they are not interoperable. You can't just jump from one to another. So a bridge transaction converts one token and allows you to now be on a new platform using a separate token. And while these two tokens may appear similar, from a tax perspective, this is generally treated like you've sold that original token and now purchased this new bridge token on the second protocol or blockchain network. So you've essentially got a taxable event. You've got a gain or loss that will be calculated on that first transaction of that sale of that token. And so although you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to a new protocol, I'm going somewhere new, but I want to still use that original token. In most cases, that's just not the case. You have something new, and from a tax perspective, in the eyes of the IRS, you have a taxable exchange or a disposition of that initial asset for this new second asset. And so that's for bridging. Now let's talk about wrapping tokens. And so say, for example, you have Bitcoin, which also operates on its own network, but you now want to operate or do something on the Ethereum network, something that's completely different. And so you could wrap your Bitcoin, and now you have a token, a new token that can be used on the Ethereum network. For example, wrapped Bitcoin, one example that is WBTC. It's essentially the same Bitcoin, but now it's got this Ethereum wrapper, so it can be used on the Ethereum blockchain. In the eyes of the IRS, although there is no clear guidance on this issue, there's not an FAQ, there isn't a revenue ruling, there isn't anything like that specifically on wrapping. But most practitioners would say conservatively, this is also a taxable event. You've sold that initial asset. Even though you've only wrapped it, you have something new. That second asset is a new asset, and so it's a taxable event. It's the sale of the first asset and then the purchase of the second. The sale of the first at the fair market value at the time it was exchanged. And so if you had originally bought Bitcoin at $20,000 and now it's at $60,000, when you've wrapped it, you have a taxable event. You've got a gain right there on that example of $40,000, and you'll have a tax due even though you don't have cash, even though in your eyes, in everyone's eyes, you just have a wrapped token just so you can move it onto this new protocol. But you have a new token, and that's why most practitioners would say conservatively, this is a taxable event. It's something that needs to be reported. There are more aggressive arguments out there. Some people say no. Wrapping a token, that's not a taxable event. There are examples in stocks and equities and other securities where merely just wrapping something in a new type of form doesn't mean it's a new taxable event. There are also examples where stocks have changed names, for instance. And so there are arguments out there where people have said, well, hey, wrapping isn't a taxable event. Not that it shouldn't be, but that it isn't. And that's really key here. For everyone listening that says, no, that's not fair, that's not the way it should be. Well, the IRS isn't based on what it should be. The IRS's rules are what they presently are. And we unfortunately have to live within that world until those rules are changed. And so, at least under current law, most taxable, most transactions where you have a token wrapped, the IRS would say this is taxable. It's a new token that you've received. If you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, well, shoot, I might have some taxable events. I might have some wrapping, some bridging, or some swaps or other DeFi transactions that need to be reported. It's not too late. Check out some of the other videos that we've got out as well, talking about your options. If you've found this video useful, please give it a like and share it with a friend. Thank you for watching.